Let us for a few moments concentrate on the Divine Master and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Om Stapakaya Chadarmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avadara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last class, we were dealing with the subject death. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to one of the Brahmo devotees, and he said, body and the soul there are two things. The body was born and it will die. But for the soul, there is no death. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a betel nut. When the nut is ripe, it doesn't stick to the shell. But when it is green, it is difficult to separate it from the shell. So after realizing God, what happens is one doesn't identify oneself anymore with the body. Though he dwells in the body, he is separate from the body. Then one knows that body and soul are two different things. So as long as we are associated with the adjuncts of the body, we will have to be born and die again and again. So this subject we talked about in the last class. Of course, people are totally identified with the body, not only the gross body, the mental body. It is impossible, therefore, for the man even to think that there can be existence beyond the body. The very idea frightens them. To such people who have that kind of notion, it is said that this Atman becomes immortal. So knowing that all does not, and they do not able to realize this fact, so all does not end with the here. Man must take courage to work for the hereafter. immortality. Don't think that whatever life you are leading now is the be all and end all of your life. No. There is a continuity of life. You will have to keep on coming and going until and unless you realize your true nature. In the story of Nachiketas in the famous Kathopanishad, the question is asked, what happens after death? This question is there. Spiritual masters have found the solution, have found the answer for this question. This question, it remains. It is a riddle even today. Man dare not peep beyond the world of the senses, for it is dark to him there. He has neither the equipment nor the instruments to probe into its depth. He cannot know anything. So what is beyond is a mystery that death holds in its own possession. But those who are able to force this secret from death will go laughing. They will accept physical dissolution with as much equanimity as they accepted life, because they have unmasked death. It is a mask that is frightening man. You know, children are afraid when someone frightens them, putting on uncanny masks like that of giants. But a few clever among the children will find out that it is the mother that has come to frighten them, and being sure of it, go and jump into her lap smiling. Likewise, when once a person knows the nature of death and seen the face of reality unmasked, he does not fear anymore. For he finds that the real in himself and the reality behind the universe are identical, or he sees it is the beloved mother that exists beyond his ken of the senses. He then understands that leaving the world, he would not lose anything but gain the eternal company of the Divine Mother or the Lord. Hence, how can death have any fear for him? There are many cases where the advanced spiritual aspirants, when they pass away, they say, "Oh Mother, I am coming to you," like that people say at the hour of death. Then with a smile on their lips, they leave the body, and that without any effort, without any regret. Lord Krishna has said in the Gita, chapter 8, verse number 5, "Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaf prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha." And whoso at the time of death leaves his body remembering me alone and goes forth, he attains my being. There need not be any doubt about this. In this verse, There are two words, Kalevaram Muktva, that is casting off the body, and the other word Prayati, goes. Now these expressions point out that there is no extinction of the individual with his separation from the body. That's the idea that is taught of travel, a beautiful idea with deep meaning. Who does not know about traveling in these days? Who does not know? Everyone travels according to his means and according to his likings. One goes to a holy place, another for sightseeing, a third one on business, a fourth one is dragged by the bond of slavery from one end of the world to the other, and so on. People do carry on travels. Similarly, man, according to his desires, according to his likings and inclinations, and with the store of merit or demerit at his back, travels. That is, transmigrates from one body to another, from one place of enjoyment to another, or straightaway back to the Lord from whom he came to live in communion with him. So when death is viewed in this light, then has man any more fear of it? It is no doubt good and grand to scorn life and face death laughing in a good cause, to become a martyr. But it is grander and better still to pass away knowing the reality, a state which knocks off the wheel of birth and death forever for that person. How does the realization of God or reality rescue a person from the fear of death? This phenomenon of death unites the devotee with his chosen ideal, the beloved Lord. For fear of him, the fire burns, the sun shines and gives heat. Indra, Vayu and even death run their errands dutifully. They are all carrying on their jobs on account of the fear of the Supreme Lord. When it is the Lord who directs death, why would the devotee be afraid of it? For when death comes, it will be by the will of God. Viewed from the Advaitic standpoint also, it's almost the same. For after realizing the oneness of everything, where can there be infatuation? Where can there be sorrow? In this state, there is no more going or coming. Sri Ramakrishna discusses this point in a very penetrative manner. He puts questions: what are man's duties? What will accompany him after death, in the hereafter? Then he himself answered these questions. He said, true, when a man dies after attaining knowledge, he doesn't have to go to another plane of existence. He is not born again. But as long as he has not attained knowledge, as long as he has not realized God, he must come back to the life of this earth. He can never escape it. For such a person, there is a hereafter. A man is liberated after attaining knowledge, after realizing God. Then only enjoy the absolute freedom. For him, there is no further coming back to earth. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of boiled paddy grain. If a boiled paddy grain is sown, it doesn't sprout. Just so, if a man is boiled by the fire of knowledge, he cannot lead a worldly life, for he has no attachment to the enjoyments of the world. He has no attachment to lust and gold. He is free from them. What will he gain by sowing boiled paddy? He who has realized God has obtained the fruit of immortality, not a common fruit like a gourd or a pumpkin. He is free from rebirth. He is not born anywhere on earth, in the solar world or in the lunar world. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Once you have realized the truth, that is the final. There is no more game. You have succeeded in your game and you have reached your goal. Yajnavalkya Maharshi, one of the great rishis of the Upanishadic time, he explains this phenomenon taking the example of fire and water. Fire consumes everything, and even this fire becomes the food of water. So death itself becomes the food of self-realization. Lord Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ihaivatayirjatas sargo yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmanite sthitaha. Here itself is the transmigration overcome by those whose mind is established in equality, for Brahman is even and blemishless. Hence they are established in Brahman. But as long as man has not relinquished his desires, he will have to be born and die again and again. Because it is the desires that keep him continuously engaged in the life. Acharya Shankara says, a man has furrowed skin, wrinkled face, toothless mouth, he has become old, tottering on his stick, yet the mass of desires has left him not. Such is the fate of man who ensnares himself in the world that he has built around himself. Sri Ramakrishna again gives the example of the silkworm which builds a cocoon around itself and suffers to die in it. Should it, however, care to, it can break and come out of it to fly free in its beautiful plumage. But such is its infatuation for the house that it has built, that it prefers to remain and consequently die there. Man is none better. He is satisfied in indulging with petty jealousies, which is gilded acquirements, and with his family and children whom he considers his most near and dear ones. But what happens when he dies? Acharya Shankara depicts this situation. He describes, as long as the breath resides in the body, so long do they inquire about the man's welfare. But when that last breath has left the body, the very wife is afraid of that frame. However, such is Maya, that man is befooled to believe that all is well with him. Man, forgetting himself about the nature, wallows here in this world, weeps and wails, and sometimes smiles to weep again. But when he knows what his true nature is, he renounces all transient things and seeks the eternal. Until he achieves the eternal, till he ceases to see as it were many things here, he will have to face death again and again. So the Upanishad has said very clearly about this point. The role of death is very conspicuous. If one death itself is unbearable, should not man try to overcome these rounds of births and deaths? So, it should open your eyes. Why I am suffering? How to get out of this suffering? But for many people, this question doesn't arise at all. Even though they are suffering, they think it's temporary, the suffering will go and he'll be wonderful, he'll be all right. But that state would never come. By the time he's feeling little free, immediately something else will come and again he will suffer. So, the question has to come to the individual. Why I am suffering in this way? Is there any way out? That question should come to him in a serious way. Then only he can act upon seriously. Otherwise, it will have no effect at all. So, then, when it becomes very serious, when he is disgusted with the worldly type of activities and things which simply make him more and more suffer, then he will try to seek the holy association and tries to learn the mystery of life. He wants to know what exactly spiritual life means and what is the way. Is there any way? And he is very serious about the answer. He wants to practice whatever that is to be done. So for the ordinary individual, the path of righteousness, what we call dharma, has been enjoined by the scriptures. When it has been rightly practiced, one becomes fit to proceed higher. Without a moral base, there can be no spiritual edifice, smaller or great. Moral base is very essential to build up your spiritual life. One who has not rested from wickedness, one who has not gained equanimity, one who has not controlled his senses, and one who has a fickle mind cannot aspire to attain this knowledge of the Atman. This is the statement of the Kathopanishad. That is the verdict of the sages of all times and climes. And one who wants to go across this ocean of birth and death has to practice equanimity, morality, chastity, and control of the senses. There is no other way. Neither by karma, nor by progeny, or wealth, but by renunciation of all the desires alone, some attained immortality, went beyond the bounds of death, says another Upanishad. So, as long as we are identifying with our body, mind and all things around us, as long as we remain forgetful of our true nature, as long as we are under the influence of Maya, we are to suffer in one way or other. The real peace one gets only by the realization of God or realization of the self, realization of the absolute reality. Once he realizes that absolute reality, he becomes totally free and he is no more frightened by birth or death. They mean nothing to him. Even if such an individual wants to be born, he knows very well he is a liberated soul and he is not bothered by being born again. He is born in order to help humanity out of the infinite love and compassion which is in nature of God. He is born, but he is liberated. Even when he is born, he is not bound by his birth. Even if he is doing activities, he is not bound by the activities which he is doing. So, though outwardly he carries on activities and behaves like ordinary people, yet because he is well aware of his divine nature, he is no more bound by the Maya. Such people who have realized the truth can lead the people who really aspire for the realization of the truth. It's only when you realize this highest truth, you realize your true immortal nature. Till then, you will be having all sorts of fear and you are pushed by so many pulls of desires and so many tendencies drag you to commit so many things and you move on helplessly and hopelessly in this world. But the way is open. You have to go in the spiritual path, then only you will get freedom, otherwise not. Page 586. Gopal went into Samadhi in the Panchavati. In that state he said to me, touching my feet, "Let me go. I cannot live in this world anymore. We have a long time to wait. Let me go." I said to him in an ecstatic mood, "You must come again." "Very well, I will," he said. A few days later, Govinda came to me. "Where is Gopal? Where is Gopal?" I asked him. He said, "He has passed away." What are the other youngsters about? Money, house, carriage, clothes, and finally marriage. These are the things that keep them busy. If they want to marry, at the outset they make inquiries about the girl. They want to find out for themselves whether she is beautiful. There is a person who speaks much ill of me. He is always criticizing me for loving the youngsters. I love only those who are born with good tendencies, pure souls with longing for God, who do not pay any attention to money, creature comforts and such things. If married people develop love for God, they will not be attached to the world. Hirananda is married. What if he is? He will not be much attached to the world. Hirananda, a member of the Brahmo Samaj, was a native of Sindh. He had met the master in Calcutta and become devoted to him. Manilal, the Marwari devotees, the Brahmo devotees from Shibipur and the young men from Dakshineshwar saluted Sri Ramakrishna and took their leave. It was evening. Lamps were lighted on the south and west verandas. A lamp was lighted in the master's room also, and incense was burnt. He was repeating the name of the Divine Mother, absorbed in the contemplation of her. After a while he talked again to the devotees. There was still some time before the evening worship in the temples. Master said to M, "What need of the Sandhya has a man who thinks of God day and night? What need of rituals has a man? What need of devotions any more, if he repeats the Mother's name at the 3 holy hours? Rituals may pursue him close, but never can they overtake him. Charity, vows, and giving the gifts do not appeal to Madan's mind. The blissful Mother's lotus feet are his whole prayer and sacrifice. The Sandhya merges in the Gayatri in Om. A man is firmly established in spiritual life when he goes into Samadhi on uttering Om only once. There is a sadhu in Hrishikesh who gets up early in the morning and stands near a great waterfall. He looks at it the whole day and says to God, "Oh, you have done well. Well done. How amazing." He does not practice any other form of japa or austerity. At night he returns to his hut. What need is there even to bother one's head about whether God is formless or has a form? It is enough for a man to pray to him alone in solitude, weeping, "O God, reveal yourself to me as you are." God is both inside and outside. It is He who dwells inside us. Therefore the Vedas say, "Tattvamasi," that thou art. God is outside us. He appears manifold through Maya, but in reality He alone exists. Therefore, before describing the various names and forms of God, one should say Om Tat Sat. Om, that alone is the reality. It is one thing to learn about God from the scriptures and quite another to see Him. The scriptures only give hints, therefore to read a great many scriptures is not necessary. It is much better to pray to God in solitude. It is not necessary to read all of the Gita. One can get the essence of the Gita by repeating the word 10 times. It becomes reversed and is then taggy. The essence of the book is, "O man, renounce and worship God. Renounce everything and worship God." The master went into ecstatic mood while watching the evening worship of Kali in the company of the devotees. He was in no condition even to salute the image. Very carefully he returned to his room with the devotees and sat down. He was still in an ecstatic mood. He spoke to them while in that state. I shall stop here. So we are passing through the state of birth and death as long as we are influenced by Maya. So in order to conquer fear, one has to take spiritual life, one has to practice moral life and all the necessary disciplines required so that you will have masterly control over your senses, particularly your mind. If you have full control over the mind, then you have conquered everything. There is very little to practice. Just direct that mind towards God, you will see Him. Once you see Him, you are free from the fear of death. That's all. It's not a disagreement, it's only different interpretation of the same truth in order to suit different temperaments. All people cannot follow the truth in the same way. It requires a sharpness of intellect. It requires some special type of discipline to understand the subtle things. So, according to the individual, the methods are given. Broadly they are classified under broad headings, but the truth is interpreted in many ways. Ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. Though God is one, He is interpreted in many ways. That is the beauty of God, so that nobody is disappointed. A very ordinary man who does not know anything about the Vedantic terminology, if you talk about Advaita to him who is working in the field, he laughs at you. I can't follow ABCD of what you are telling, he will tell. So you have to teach him in his own language. You have to go to his level and teach him what he should do so that he can improve his mental status. One has to improve the quality. Then only one understands things in a proper perspective. So different systems of philosophy do exist in order to interpret the same reality in different ways. That's all. You follow whatever philosophy you want to do, realize it, then you will know the truth of it. That is the beauty of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Sri Ramakrishna said, all the paths lead to the same goal, whatever path you may follow. Any path with the idea of reaching the goal, spiritual goal. If the spiritual goal is your target, whatever path you are following in order to achieve that goal, you will get. You will get into the goal. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said. So he did not say you have to go only in a particular path, you have to follow only Advaita. He didn't say like that. Alright, your mental makeup is in this fashion. You want path of devotion. Go ahead. Don't talk about other people. Why he is always reading scriptures, why he is discussing about Brahman and whether the Jiva Brahman are one and the same or different. Don't bother about all such things. You bother about yourself, your own path. Go ahead, march in your path. That's all what you should do. Be like a horse. The horse runs. It doesn't see this way, that way. The eyes are covered. It only sees in one direction. It can't see sideways. So you must be like that. When you practice spirituality, your direction must be one pointed. Don't waste time unnecessarily in discussing or debating, etc., etc. It's all sheer waste of time. What you need to know, what you need to get it and start doing it. Get the final result. Then, if you have got time, then you come and enter into debate and do whatever you want to do. But first you realize the truth yourself, then go. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. All don't have to go in the same path. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Sri Ramakrishna says, hitherto the previous incarnations or the previous prophets, they would tell, you follow this way. But in the modern period, Sri Ramakrishna said, follow any path you want. What I want is follow it steadfastly. That's Sri Ramakrishna's method. That's called integration. There's no quarrel among the paths. All paths lead to the goal. Finished. That's the truth. There is no end. And the words will not stop also. And you will not be cleared of doubts also. Doubts keep multiplying. The indication of a man, the indication of a person who has realized. That's true. So what is needed is follow it, do practice. As you said, disciplines are common, whatever path you follow. Basic disciplines are to be followed. Moral basis is important for the edifice, spiritual edifice. That's it. All right, we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its curve to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who finds in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as they may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be an unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be free from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.